Is it normal for all cash gifts to me, 36M, from my parents to exclude my wife? 39F. Too long did not read. Mom often gifts me, 36M, money with specific instructions that it's not to be shared with my wife, 39F. Sometimes it feels odd to me. I have a loving but also passive-aggressive mother that I am fortunate to get occasional money from. Me and wife are financially stable and not dependent on this money or these gestures in any way. They are in the $100–500 range. My parents are not super wealthy, but they are comfortably retired, I would say. All these gifts come to me with the specific instruction that it is just for me. I'm recently married, but I've been with my partner for 6 years. There is no evidence of financial mismanagement from either me or my wife. We are debt-free except for our mortgage with additional savings and an emergency fund. I'm torn on how to think about this. Could it be that it's perfectly normal my mom is wanting to preserve some level of family wealth only through me? For those fortunate enough to get monetary gifts from their parents, are there always conditions attached? For the sums we are talking, it seems odd that she doesn't trust me to save or spend it wisely, nor that she ever accepts that it might be shared with my wife in some way. Of course, when it's in my possession I can do what I like with it, but I was still curious what people think. Why doesn't she like your wife? No one is preserving generational wealth in $100 amounts. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, and think your mom means she wants you to spend the money on something for yourself. Not towards bills or household expenses, something for you to enjoy. A video game, sports equipment, clothing, electronics, whatever makes you happy. This is weird op. When I, or anyone I know, get cash from relatives, I'm always told to spend it on my partner and I. Food, movie, activity, rent, bills, whatever. Usually the only condition on money given to an adult is a joking, "Don't spend it all in one place," or, "Just don't spend it on drugs." Does your wife's family ever give cash or gift cards as presents, and would it be weird if they said don't use it with op? Are you the type of person who does not spend money on himself, so the instruction is more so catered towards self-care? Think of the gift money this way. Your mother wants to buy you a gift but doesn't know what you really like. Instead of racking her brains out and shopping for the perfect gift for you, she gives you the money she had budgeted for the gift for you to go buy what you really want. Kinda like a gift card, but not limiting you to one retailer. So there is nothing evil behind the intent. Better than having a closet or attic full of gifts that collects dust. Depending on the wording, yeah, that's pretty aggressive. There's a lot of difference between, "Spend this on yourself, you've earned it," and "Light this on fire before letting Jenny touch it," though. Also, it's cash, so feel free to ignore your mother's suggestions as there's no way to track the follow-through. I think it's abnormal for sure. That said, I just say, sure, and then promptly ignore her instructions. If you want to confront her about it, give it a go. Maybe ask her, "What do you mean by that? Can you mention country and/or region you are from? Cash gifts to a 36-year-old overall are super weird. Where are you from? How familiar are you with your local inheritance laws? In Germany, what you describe is not uncommon, at least for bigger gifts. You do not gift the couple, but specifically only your child, because it is then counted as an inheritance advance, and not a gift. And inheritance received during the marriage by law counts as a pre-marital asset that does not have to split during divorce. Nobody would bother declaring €100 as an inheritance advance though. My parents give cash gifts separately to us and separate our partners, spouses in different envelopes for Christmas. The only time that's different is on birthdays, when of course only the birthday person receives an envelope. Does your mum never give your wife presents? I can't think of any reason your mum would do this unless she doesn't like your wife. My parents send my girlfriend cash on her birthday. My girlfriend's parents only buy presents for her at Christmas. We've been together 8 years. Everyone's different. There's no normal. My mom and dad have told my husband to buy something fun for himself in the past, so he didn't get self-sacrificing and spend it on bills or whatever he needs reminders sometimes to treat himself. If they told him he wasn't allowed to spend it on me or include me, or if his mom did the same to me, I'd assume, best case scenario, that they didn't trust me with money. Seems more likely she has a problem with her, and I'm not sure why you haven't taken a moment to ask her why she wants to be clear in her disdain for your wife. It's fully your job to make sure your family is in line. My in-laws make the same restrictions on me and their son, my husband person. When they give us money, they always say, "This is to be spent on only XYZ," because they know we'd spend it on other people first, like our other half and our kids. It could simply be they know you potentially don't spend on yourself and want to ensure you treat yourself as well. On the one hand, it could be as innocent as she wants you to do something fun with the money for yourself as a treat. But since it's every time, it does feel like she's specifically trying to exclude your wife. She either doesn't trust your wife with your money, or she doesn't like her. But it does seem odd she's making that stipulation. What if the treat you wanted was to go out for dinner with your wife? It is strange that she has that rule. My BF's dad doesn't include me in his Christmas gift, always cash, because we're not married and also he doesn't know me very well. That's not weird. But if he was specifically telling my boyfriend it was only to be used on himself and specifically not me. Weird and controlling. Maybe possibly she just wants you to use it on something for yourself. Like instead of treating her to a fancy dinner, treat yourself to a spa day or whatever. Or grown-up stuff. Is it possible she means it in a, "this is for you, my son, to do something special for yourself that you might not normally do" kind of way? It's definitely reading as a super PA move, but yeesh, I hope she's just clueless. Can you talk to her about it to find out her intentions? How does your wife feel about it? Is your mom frosty or disapproving in other ways towards your wife? Seems like the answer to most of the issues here on Reddit come down to direct, respectful communication. I sure hope your mom is the type who's be receptive to it. Well, she's giving you the money, you can do what you want with it. If you plan on having kids or already do, I would put it into a savings account for them. If you don't, put it in your own savings account. Or you could possibly use the money to buy your parents Christmas gifts every year or something like that, basically give it back to them. My mother does this to me. I think it's more, get something nice just for you, rather than, don't give it to your partner. She's definitely used the nicer way of saying it though. I wouldn't stress too hard, cause your parents don't check up on your expenses, right? Maybe you should just ask your mom why she does that. It's possible she just strongly dislikes your wife, or it's also very possible that she knows you love your wife, I'm gonna assume you do lol, and that you might share the gift with her and she wants to specifically treat you. I've given my girl some money to go out for a nice dinner and asked her to not get food for the rest of her family, because even though I like them I want to do something for her, not them. Have you asked your mother why she is specific to exclude your wife? Have you asked her why it's just for you? If so, what did she say? I only ask because maybe there's good intentions here, like she wants you to make sure you do something nice for yourself occasionally. A lot of men, generalizing here, aren't big into treating themselves. This is just a wild guess based on the fact that I try to purposefully give my best friend gifts that are just for her, because she's a kick-ass wife and mom who puts everyone else first. Maybe this money is your mom's version of that. Does she mean like, take this and treat yourself to a little something nice? Like, this is fun money, don't just spend this on essentials. Or does she really mean, I do not want this money to be shared with or benefit your wife at all? For instance, my dad sends me $30 in my Valentine's Day card every year with instructions to take yourself out for a nice lunch this week. He means he wants me to use it for a treat. Do you think that could be what your mom is saying? I think it's one of those things where sometimes moms tell daughters to hide money from the husband just in case of emergency. It's strange, but could this possibly be coming from more of a treat yourself angle than an exclude your wife one? I'm also wondering, because it's your mom, if maybe she received similar gifts from a parent at a time when women didn't really keep their own money, so instructions to not share were more like a mad money spouse thing, i.e. some money you could spend on yourself without getting in trouble with your spouse. I'd just do whatever I want with the money, and I'd share with my partner. If you wanted to clarify with your mom, I'd say something along the lines of, we support and share with each other. That seems kind of odd, exclusionary. The only time I get these kinds of gifts for me, my spouse, are when we both get the same amount of individual money and the intention is that we spend it on whatever we'd like personally, e.g., a special piece of clothing, versus something for us, the house. Does your partner also get, only for them, monetary gifts from your parents? My partner's parents definitely give me, only for you, monetary gifts to make sure I spoil myself with something special instead of spending birthday money on, say, groceries. The answer though is always talk to your mom, only she'll know her actual intention. In my experience, my father never gave cash to any of the significant others. It's nothing personal, it's just that's what he wanted to do for his kids, help them set up for generational wealth. He always gave them a gift, but his own money went to his own kids. Your mom is a narcissist who has an emotional incest relationship. Are you the type of person that rarely treats themselves yet likes to treat others? Like, if she gave you money without instructions, would you likely spend it on things for your wife and or others? Or bills? If this is the case, I'm not justifying your mother's restrictions, but I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she really wants to make sure you really do treat yourself. If you're not particularly generous with your wife, then it seems your mom may not fully like her, or is under the impression that your wife calls the shots financially. You are reading too much into it. It's just a mom still wanting to spoil her baby boy to treat himself. No matter what age you are, in our mom's eyes, we are still, in their own way, still their baby. Question. Does your mother dislike your wife? I would say, no, it's not normal. My in-laws, when they gift us cash, which they do, they never have any instruction, condition attached. My parents, when they did gift us cash in the past, also never have instruction, condition attached. They're not about to write me, oh, don't share this with your husband. Or, for your use only. Nope. I guess it could be taken a couple of ways, but keep in mind that it could be you mother doing something, just for you. That isn't a bad thing as long as she doesn't specifically exclude your partner in all things. Maybe she wants you to treat yourself. Just a guess here, but unless your parents explicitly hate your wife for some reason, it might just be a miscommunication in interpreting the wrong. Maybe it's not meant to be a, fuck your wife, don't let her touch this money, but more of a, I know you guys have a lot of household and shared expenses, so this is for you to buy yourself something nice with dearie. You are mama's baby boy and she wants to spoil you. That's how I see it. I don't think her intention is to slight your wife but rather spoil her little cutsy wootsy. You're your mama's baby, she just wants to spoil you. That's how I'd look at it. Especially if y'all have a good relationship. Just enjoy it, man. It's extremely passive-aggressive and an attack on your wife. Does she give your wife any gifts? In any case, personally I'd tell her, whether or not it's true, that you now only have joint bank accounts and so she has to make any checks out to both of you or stop gifting. It might just be a clumsy way of saying, don't use it to pay bills, spend it on yourself, but it's a bit of an odd way to phrase it. Our money is mostly in a joint account, so if someone gives a check then technically we could both spend it. My mum sometimes buys things for me, she's helped out a lot with our home refurbishment, paying builders direct, sometimes pays money into our bank account or mortgage, and sometimes gives cash or Amazon vouchers. She generally gives my husband an Amazon voucher for his birthday so he actually spends it on something he wants. Without more context, your family is being super weird. My family tell me, buy something nice, or, don't just put it in the housekeeping, because they know I'm sensible to a fault with money. If she stipulates it in that spirit, that's okay. If she says don't share it with wife, outright, I would probe deeper. For the sums we are talking, it seems odd that she doesn't trust me to save or spend it wisely. Maybe she doesn't want you to spend it wisely and that's the whole point. She might want you to treat yourself to something you normally wouldn't. That might be a little irresponsible and that your wife would likely talk you out of, not in a controlling way, just in an overly responsible way. What kind of specific instructions? Just to not share with your wife, or are there more? Also, have you ever asked why? I have been with my significant other for 9 years, married for 3 and have a low with so. Other than the wedding gift, cash, given to so. But for both of us, I have never received a single gift from my ILs. I have gotten used stuff, like once when we were visiting I forgot to bring a scarf, Mill lent me one and after she said I could keep it. Another time I got a t-shirt dirty, Mill lent me one and then it appeared in my bag. I'm a married woman and my dad gives me money from time to time, but never tells me what to or not to spend it on. I would honestly suggest that you ask your mom why she has been specifically instructing you not to spend it on your wife. How's their relationship in general anyway? I grew up in Asian culture. My grandparents would gift us kids money and always remind us to spend it on ourselves. It was their way to ask us to buy for ourselves something we would like as gift from them. Especially considering the families lived in rural areas and shopping for gifts was not as easy as buying online. If this is not what's going on, it is really weird. Why don't you put on your big boy pants and ask your parents straight up? Families are weird. Always different to the next. My mum would never do this, she'd probably make me buy the missus something nice. But the fact that you're posting this suggests that something feels off for even you. The next part that makes families different is how they communicate. If this was my mum, I'd just call her and say, can I ask why you've been saying to not share gift money with her? Am I missing something? My mum would answer that no worries. And the answer would probably be something innocent that she didn't think about how it would look. Because she was too busy thinking about spoiling her baby. Just ask her, mate. You're wasting brain real estate on this one as it stands. It's in case you and your wife get divorced. I'm guessing your mother and wife do not get along. Your mom, mistakenly depending on the state you live in, thinks this cash will be deemed separate property and not part of the community. Community property is divided 50-50, with a few exceptions, upon divorce. It's all down to how it's stated. My mum used to give me odd cash gifts with the words, "It's just for you to treat yourself," but then she would also give hubby a little cash gift to treat himself. But this seems different. No, my dad would do this too. She just wants to make sure you treat yourself. My husband and I tend share a lot, but from outsider's perspective it would seem like we spend more on him. He tends want a few high-ticket items that are easily identifiable. I buy smaller items that amount to the same over time. We are both happy, but my dad would want to make sure I splurged on myself. My parents will give me and partner cash gift or clothes. My parents do prefer we spend the money for something for ourselves rather than spend it for everyday life. We have bought TV, bed, clothes etc. Always something practical because I see that money as free money lol. But at the end of the day they don't really care because they know it's a gift.